We salute you. Yes, we're live on the Get Busy Livin Podcast. And we have a wonderful guest this morning. It's Shanley Ewen-Smith. But before I introduce Shanley, I'm Dr. Scott from Sixth Sense Acupuncture and the Healthy Habits Club. I'm a registered acupuncturist and herbalist. And as I said, you're on the Get Busy Livin Podcast. And thank you so much, Shanley, for joining us this morning and giving us your time. And I can't wait to hear the gold nuggets that you're going to give us.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Appreciate it, mate. Lovely setting. Are you in the hinterland somewhere?
I'm actually in Redland Bay. So we've got
Redland
6
Bay.
acres of bushland. So pretty lucky here.
So you're not far from the water.
No, very close to the water.
Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, I'll start off with my usual question. So tell us, Shanley, what gets you out of bed every morning?
Cool. I love these sort of questions. What gets me out of bed in the morning? It's a few things, I guess, but mainly I wake up pretty excited every day to have an opportunity to help change someone else's life with the work that I do. And whilst I'm doing that, I'm making a living whilst making a difference, but it's also helping me to bring me closer towards my dreams and my goals for the future. So yeah, I'd say, one of the first things I do when I get out of bed in the morning is I read a diary of what I've written of how my day went the night before. So I sort of put that out there to the universe before I go to sleep, and I wake up and I read that as if the day's already finished. And usually it's got a lot to do around helping other people achieve what they want, their goals, and also, as I said, moving me closer towards mine. You've just gone on mute, Dr. Scott.
There we go. That's my fault. My fault. That's a technical issue. So I was going to say, so what you're trying to say to us is that you help to put yourself first, and then also to help the community around you and help them to better themselves as well. And that's, correct. I strive to do the same thing. So much appreciated that you come on to help us as well, and everyone in the community. So tell us, we'll go into the next question. So you're into cellular health. You're a cellular health specialist, helping to empower others to radiate optimal health and achieve success in health and well-being. So you're a health coach, yeah?
Yeah, I'm actually a redox specialist. So I work with a technology that is a brand new category of health science, and it's to do with signaling of your cells. And how I came into this line of work, I guess, is I was looking for my next path in life. So my background is that I used to be a scuba dive instructor, and I used to take people on sailing vacations for a living. Then I did a very important job of staying at home and raising my 3 kids for about 10 years. And then I was looking for my next path. And this really kind of, I think the universe really brings things to you that are meant to be. And it was because that my dad had been diagnosed with a hereditary disease that I was really on the lookout for alternatives to keep healthy for the long term for me and my family. That longevity of life seems like the older you get, the more and more people around you are, falling ill to these crazy diseases. There's no escaping it. It must be in the environment around us and, the stress that we carry. So I was on alert. And I was looking to, I guess, have an impact in the world. I'd turned 40. This is about 4 years ago. So now you know my age. And those decade birthdays, they really hit me hard. And I think about how quickly that last 10 years had gone by, and looking into the future, what I wanted to do that, that would let me feel like when I'm a 99-year-old grandmother in my rocking chair, that I'd made a difference in the world. And that's when I discovered ASEA, and that's the company I'm affiliated with now. And as you said rightly, I help people to to radiate optimal health, pursue their passions, and live with joy and purpose, because I reckon life's too short to muck around. So,
Yeah, I totally agree. Actually, I found out a statistic. So actually, Robert Kennedy Jr. said it the other day. We don't have the statistics here in Australia, but in the States they do. They seem to have better statistics over there. But he said that in the 1960s, 6% of the population were affected by chronic disease. 6%.
It's a lot.
In today, 2024, he said 60% of the US. 60% of the US population are affected by chronic disease. Now, I'm looking around and I'm thinking we're not far behind.
Yeah.
We are not far behind. And your father is, my father is the same statistic. Had a horrible last 5 years of his life, cocktail of medication, and died horribly. Horribly. So I'm sort of in the same boat as you, Shanley. I don't want to end up in the same boat as him.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll agree, that your health is really your true wealth, isn't it? If you don't have that, then there's not much point.
Yeah, that's true. So you were saying when you first, where did you grow up in Australia?
Yeah, I grew up in Australia. I spent 9 years living overseas when we were taking people on sailing vacations.
That's what I was just going to ask you. So you've been around the world a few times, I suspect.
Yeah, yes, yeah. We used to live on boats. I love boats. I love the ocean. That's my passion, and my husband's. So yeah.
Yeah, cool.
We still own a boat.
Yeah. So well, isn't there a TV series about that? Below Deck. Was I say? I'm sure that wasn't happening. What was I going to say? So yeah, tell us what was the most prettiest? What was you've seen some pretty places, I suspect. So what was the prettiest place you'd ever been to?
Oh, it's a big toss up between Belize in Central America, because they've got the second largest barrier reef in the world. Australia has the first. So Belize in Central America, we lived there for 4 years. That's a beautiful, beautiful place, from the jungles to the ocean and the islands and the reef. I also really love the British Virgin Islands, with that kind of, the water's like gin. It's so crystal clear, and the big boulders and the landscape. It's just incredible. And also St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So I can't pick. That's really hard to yeah.
So the Grenadines, where is that?
It's right down the bottom of the chain of the Caribbean islands. So you've got St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and right below that is Trinidad and Tobago.
Tobago, yeah. Okay. Okay, I gotcha now. So they're pretty close together. They're not far away from each other.
Yeah.
Those three spots.
Well, Belize, is in Central America. Belize is quite a far away. But yeah, all the other places I mentioned, they're all within that chain of the Caribbean islands. So you can sail there in less than a day, most of them. Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool. And obviously you did a lot of tours around the reefs, and I suppose you're used to coming from the Great Barrier Reef. Do they have as many dangerous fish as what we do here?
Nah, Australia still has the most dangerous animals that I've seen in the world. So it was pretty safe over there. I think they maybe had some stonefish and nothing too crazy like we have. Sea snakes, I think, was another thing. Poisonous sea snakes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay.
Were they more
in the river systems, or was that in the ocean itself?
In the ocean, and the reefs.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh rightio.
Yeah. Keeps things interesting.
I didn't know that. I had no idea there were snakes on the reefs. Okay.
Yeah, but so they're very venomous, but they have very short fangs, so they can't really penetrate like a wetsuit if you're scuba diving.
Oh yeah.
So
gotcha.
They're not really a risk.
Yeah, rightio. But they don't have bull sharks tapping you on the shoulder saying, "Hey, how are you?" or great whites or nurse sharks, or what do they call it? Your Ganges. Oh,
Irrigantes, yeah, the jellyfish you're talking about.
Yeah, the jellyfish. Oh, I've seen someone. Oh, it was. You could just see the skin was just burning.
Yeah,
They say it's excruciating pain. You can see it was screaming.
Yeah.
And same with I've never seen someone with boxed jellyfish, not live, but I have seen it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Doesn't look too enticing either. Doesn't look very nice at all.
No. And things were very different. Interestingly, when I worked as a scuba dive instructor on the Great Barrier Reef, things were very different back then. Like we'd go scuba diving in just swimwear, like with no wetsuit, no stinger suit or anything. They just weren't out that far. But nowadays, because I guess global warming, the temperatures are a lot warmer. There's a lot more jellyfish. You can't all year round. You have to wear protection from marine stingers.
They say you get a little reprieve in like June, July, August, but other than for that, you pretty much like you said, you have to wear a stinger suit.
Yeah,
because I've been to Port Douglas a few times. I love it there. It's a beautiful spot.
Sure is. That's where I worked out of, actually.
Port Douglas, that that's even there. It's like you got to be careful. You've got crocs in the river as well. So
well, there was 2 events that happened up in Port Douglas. I know I'm digressing, but it was when I was working out on the Great Barrier Reef. Steve Irwin died out from Port Douglas when he got stung by the stingray in his chest. Stingray barb.
Freak accident.
Yeah, freak accident. And the other thing was there were a couple of American tourists called the Lonigans is their last name. They went missing. They were maybe left behind. No one really knows the real story. There's a lot of conspiracy around that, but both those things happened when I was working in that same area.
Wow. And that's why you went to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I don't want to end up like them. So okay, and then so you came back, you had the kids, and you did you do anything? Did you do any part-time work, or did you have a little business happening then when the kids were around?
Not at that time. It sort of really kicked off when they went back. Well, when they started going to, all of them were in school. So I did do a couple of part-time jobs just to freshen things up a bit, I guess, and working in a plant nursery. So I love nature and just being around it and, just working with plants, beautiful flowers. And I don't know, I just found it very rewarding. And also to, I guess, shake it up a bit from the household chores. So I did that for a while. But, I soon realized it was more of a hobby than something I wanted to pursue as a career. Yeah.
And then did you do any, before ASEA, did you do any other business opportunities, or did you go into partnerships with anyone?
No, I've always worked for other people before ASEA. And although that was good, it sort of becomes, I guess, apparent, especially when, the pandemic came around, that I don't really want to be stuck in a job. No job's secure, like you got to sort of work for your own future. And so if you can own your own business, I think, although that can be tough at times, if you can make it successful, I really think it's the way forward for financial security for the long term.
Yeah, I agree. So tell us, how did you get into ASEA then? How did you get into that?
Well, it was, my husband. He works in the marine construction industry. And at the time, one of his colleagues, and this is a really bizarre place to be talking about it, came up to him and said, I've just been across to the US to hear about this company and find out if it was the real deal. And I'm just incredibly amazed at what I found. You've got to learn about these signaling molecules. So they're in a marine construction environment and they're talking about signaling molecules. And my husband's like, oh, yeah, okay, send me something. And of course, he passed it right on to me because he knew where I was at, really interested in health at the time and looking for another sort of life's journey. And so, of course, I was very curious. I initially thought, oh, it sounds a bit too good to be true. They've replicated a molecule from the human body that facilitates repair and in the cells, repair and regeneration, and made it available for supplementation because we lack these molecules as we get older, and it can impact all areas of our health and well-being. I thought, wow, if this is real, this is huge. And so I went into research mode, and I spent weekends locked in my bedroom just searching the internet for everything I could find out about it. Anyway, I finally met up with somebody who was doing the business. This was this guy's father who came and taught me all about it. I obviously started using it myself. I had some pretty instant great benefits. Like I said, I was already healthy, but I found massive increase in energy, which I'd been lacking, which was life-changing in itself, just because then you have more energy to do more things for you and for other people. I also found, and I have to make a disclaimer, this is not meant to treat or cure or diagnose any disease or illness, because it's just empowering your own body to do what it naturally does and heal yourself. But 8 months down the track, I've had lifelong seasonal disturbances to dust and pollen. I'd have to take all sorts of, antihistamines, always a box of tissues nearby. It's really can be debilitating if you've had that before. And 8 months down the track, the pollens are out, the dust is flying, and I'm like completely fine. And to this day, I just haven't had them back again. So, during this time, I'm seeing what it's done for me, and I've already started to share it with other people, tell other people about it, and they're having their own experiences. And I'm like, this is the real deal. This is incredible. And that's sort of when I saw how it was changing other people's lives, is when I decided to turn what I was going to be a hobby really into a real business, and being able to market to 35 different countries in the world and do all of that from home. And I can still be available for my kids when they get home from school. And I'm like I said before, making a living while making a difference. It's a dream come true. So yeah, that's how I got involved and haven't looked back.
So so tell you from all the research. So I know it's not going to be easy. Try and summarize.
Yeah.
From all the research that you did.
What would you like me to summarize?
Give me 20. I'll give you 20 minutes. How's that sound?
To talk about what it is?
Yeah, the science behind it. And
okay. Yeah.
If you're like me, I could go all day.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, but I'll keep it short and sweet. So this company, ASEA, 15 years ago, did what science declared to be impossible, and they recreated a redox signaling molecule from the human body and put it inside of a drink, which we take daily, and a gel which we can apply to the skin. So the only place in the world you can find redox signaling molecules is inside of these two products that this one company makes, and inside of the cells of your own body. And what they are the biological messengers that are responsible for your cell repair and regeneration. And as you can imagine, you've got trillions of cells in your body that are in a constant state of detection, protection, repair, and replacement of unhealthy cells or damaged cells. Well, it's the redox signaling molecules that orchestrate that function in the body of cell repair and regeneration. So if you like, it's like the communication or the Wi-Fi of the body is these molecules. So they're made inside of your cell, inside of the mitochondria. You produce energy or ATP, and they're the byproduct of that cycle. And for years, scientists would think that these molecules were just a waste product of that mechanism inside the cell. But 20 years ago, 3 scientists, they won a Nobel Prize for discovering the significance of these redox signaling molecules in the body. And that's when scientists went ahead and tried to, replicate them, because the reason for it is after the age of puberty, so around about the age of 13, we lose our body's natural ability to make as many redox signaling molecules as we did when we were young. And if you think about it, it explains why a young kid can bounce back really quickly from an injury or illness, is because they got lots of cell signaling happening. And when you get older, and so when you're like middle-aged, you really only, if you're losing 10% each decade, you've got only about half the amount of redox molecules left in your body to signal to the cells to repair and regenerate. So now that, and it explains why when you're older, things take longer to heal and repair, right? So now that we can supplement with what we lack, we can therefore trigger healing at the body's most foundational level, right up inside the cell. And the science shows us that it actually turns on, redox signaling molecules turn on and off important gene signaling pathways in the body. And if you look right into the science, and it has a cascading effect throughout the whole body, but if you look into the science, it's targeted at improved immune system response, improved cardiovascular health, inflammatory response, gut health and enzyme production, and hormone modulation. So I'm really excited to also announce that in 2023, so these studies were done back in the beginning. In 2023, they did some more studies in conjunction with the University of Bath in the UK and the University of Western Sydney in Australia.
Yep.
These trials were actually partially funded by the Australian government, which we're so excited about, because they're not going to put their money into something that's not real, right? And what they studied is just one of the 14 genetic pathways that redox signaling molecules are known to affect, and that's the NRF2 pathway. And in these studies, and this white paper is soon to be published in medical journals, they found that the activation of the NRF2 pathway was increased by 60%. Now, in the NRF2 pathway, that's your body's, it leads to your body's master antioxidant, the glutathione. So it's combating free radicals in the body. That was increased by 60%, which is huge. They repeated that test 9 times because they just couldn't believe the results. So the science is finally catching up with the breakthrough. And although you may not have heard of it, I know you have, Dr. Scott, but many people haven't heard of it before. It's going to become mainstream. It's, the more and more people I'm talking to in Australia, health practitioners, everyday people, there's still many who haven't heard of it, but many people are already using it and utilizing it because it's so complementary in health. No one can be allergic to it, right? Because it's already in you. That's the beauty of it. Yeah. Thanks for that little time to give the explanation.
Well, you did it in 5 minutes. I know.
Ah, cool.
So, okay. So, give us some examples of how you've helped people with the redox application for their conditions.
Yeah. And again, not intended to treat, diagnose, or cure disease or illness, because it's empowering your own body to do it through the immune system. So
this is just witnessing. This is just you're witnessing what.
I just have to be compliant because we have to be careful what we say. But okay, there's 2 examples which I love to tell of, and obviously we use it in our own home. Of 3 kids, and the gel especially we go through heaps of it. That can replace a lot of things in the medicine cabinet. From I won't go into all of that, but just use your imagination.
The first aid kit. Yeah.
The first aid kit in one bottle. But yeah, one example.
It's like when we were kids, Vicks was the first aid kit.
Yeah, rub it on your feet, right?
everything. Just wake you
Definitely.
up in the morning, put
Yeah,
it under your nose. Oh, really?
yeah, yeah. One example I love is I introduced it to a lady who wanted to use it to help with her hormonal balance. She had some issues with thyroid. She started using it and discovered on her own accord. And because I was quite new to it then, this is way back in the beginning, and I didn't sort of realize just the extent of how much it could help people. She found an online interview between Dr. Gary Samuelson. He's the atomic medical physicist who helped to stabilize the redox molecule outside the body. He basically helped with the breakthrough. She found an interview online of him talking about the correlation between spectrum disorders and redox molecules in the body. It was a really interesting interview. You can find it if you go searching. And so she asked me about it. And of course, I didn't really know too much. So I got in touch with one of my more experienced colleagues who dealt with a lot of kids and stuff before, because she has a couple of children who are in that space. And so, it was determined, it's safe for kids. Give it a try. And within 8 weeks, those kids had a lot of behavioral changes. So they'd gone from, and the teacher actually came up to this mum and had explained, I'm not sure what's changed, but they've gone from, having outbursts and not paying attention in class and preferring their own company and, just not really engaging, to the complete opposite. They're like a new person. They seem really happy in themselves. They're participating in the class conversations. They seem really calm and relaxed. And for the first time ever, and this is what brought the mum to tears, and this is what I love about how it can be so life-changing, is they'd actually shown interest in starting to make friendships for the very first time. And for that mother, she was like, that out of everything, that was probably the best thing ever, because she'd come to the conclusion they were always going to prefer their own company. And so I love that story. And they all continue to use the products. Another story is a lady in her late 70s. She lives out at Macleay Island, so not far from us. She'd been with a condition with her kidney for over 40 years, and she would have to go to the hospital for frequent checkups and monitoring, and she was on medications and things like that. She took a hold of this supplement through a naturopath that I actually introduced it to, so it wasn't directly from me, but indirectly. And within a couple of years, she's discharged from the hospital. Like, they told her she'd have that for all of her life, and they basically couldn't explain it, and sort of said, well, maybe you never had that condition to start with, and this woman, she's like, and her husband, they're like Energizer bunnies. They ride their bicycles to the golf course every day, well, most days of the week. They do an 18 rounds of golf, walking, and then they ride their bikes home again. And all of the people their age are completely different. They're on the golf buggies and they're complaining about their sore hips and elbows and whatever else. So she said she's never felt fitter and healthier in her entire life. So I love those things.
Because kidneys is because it controls blood pressure. So my father had dialysis at the end, and he had the peritoneal dialysis, so he didn't have to go into the hospital to get the hemodialysis. So, but it takes up a lot of time of their day. And was she doing that? Was she on dialysis? Do you know?
No, she was not on dialysis. No.
But she had hiccups. So obviously her kidney function was low for them to continually check.
Yeah, I probably won't say on this call exactly what it was, because I don't want to say that, this fixed it, but it's some miracle.
It'd be interesting to see the blood test that they did.
Yes.
Compare the before and after.
Do you know about
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It is. Have you heard of the bioresonance units that scan the body's frequencies in the organs? Have you heard of those?
Yes, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the naturopath that introduced her to the redox to begin with uses that, and so they can physically see within minutes of it going to work in the organs and starting the repair because the vibration signals change. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, because it can tell the visceral fat in the body, and that's important. Why? Because the more visceral fat that you have surrounding the organs, the more the organ has to work harder.
Yeah.
And also, the more opportunity you have of creating more toxic buildup in that visceral fat.
Yeah.
And then that can affect the organ as well.
Yeah.
So it can affect the organ's function because of the toxicity through your bloodstream.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if that starts to reduce and starts to clean up, gets rid of that toxicity. So fat is it's like a sponge. It likes to soak things up.
Yeah.
So if that can change, then yeah, there's only one way the patient can go, and that's a better healthy state. So this is the problem that we're having with society today, is that people have way too much visceral fat.
Yeah.
And that's why we're having so many chronic disease issues.
Yeah, it makes sense. Absolutely.
So
Plus,
yeah,
we're living in a toxic world these days, really, aren't we? There's no escaping it, from the air we breathe, the water we drink, even the foods we're eating. You know, does it have the same nutritional value as it once did?
No, this is the food industry is starting to acknowledge that food is not as nutritional as it was, say, 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Because of what we're doing, what they're doing to food.
And the soils.
Correct. Yeah, not correct. Not using the best, what do you call it, agriculture practices. So, yeah, that's a huge topic, that one. That's
absolutely.
So you talk to farmers about it, and yeah, there's a lot of them that are upset with the regulations that they have in place surrounding that. But that's another topic.
For another call. Yeah.
that's for another call. So okay, so do you have different age groups that you can use the products for? You're saying you can use it for kids as well.
Yeah, there's no limit really. There's no limit at all. Even a newborn baby, you can apply the gel to their skin. They obviously can't drink it yet. And anyone really elderly, it's like I was saying, it's you can't be allergic to it. It cannot have any ill effect because it's already inside your body. In fact, we've got elite and Olympic athletes around the world who use it because it helps with their endurance, their stamina, and decreases recovery time. It also increases their VO2 max up to 16%. So it's like, an athlete's secret weapon, if you like. It can't be detected in any drug screening test because it's not that. It's already inside you. Yeah.
It's not a drug, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't it stimulates the body naturally instead of inhibiting something, because that's what medication does. It either inhibits something or replaces something.
Yes. Yeah.
That's all it does. Medication just replaces something or it inhibits something.
Yep.
But yeah, if you're promoting a deficiency of whatever it is in the body, then yeah, you've got way less chance.
Yeah.
Way less chance of having side effects. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so it comes in a gel as well, so you can do what do they call it? You can put it on topically.
Yeah, you put it on topically. It's sold in Australia as a beauty, like a cosmetic gel, I guess, like a anti-aging, because it does reduce your fine lines, wrinkles, stretch marks, all that kind of stuff. But there's honestly about 50 different uses for it. It can be used for all sorts of things because it's a signaling molecule you're applying to the skin, and it's in much higher concentration than the drink. So you can actually target specific areas of the body with it.
Yeah, great. Okay, and do they have kids especially? Does it? How does it? How do you drink it? Do you have it like a powder? How does it? What form does it come in?
I wish I had some in front of me. It's inside, but it's a drink. It comes in like a liter bottle. So you take a 60 mil or 100 you take 120 mils or 180 mils per day, depending on your age and what you got going on. So it comes with a little measuring cup, and you take one and a half in the morning and 1.5 in the night. And the gel just comes in a 90 mil tube. You just shake that up, and you can apply it 3 times in 5 minutes to any area of discomfort in your body. And there's like a whole list of other things it can be used for. But yeah, we particularly love the gel in this household. The kids always asking me for another tube because they've run out. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So can you? Is it edible? Is the gel edible, or is it just put it on your skin?
You're not supposed to ingest it, but
Okay.
It hasn't stopped other people doing that. Some countries, they haven't got the drink available. They've only got the gel.
Okay.
Yeah, just for, I guess, every country's got their different regulatory system. So something that, they work on. But yeah, you're not supposed to put it in your mouth because of there's all natural ingredients that are in it. I think there's only 4 ingredients in the gel. And I think it's something that makes it into the gel base. It's like a clay.
I was just thinking that. Some sort of gelatin or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why you can't ingest it.
Yeah.
All right. And is there anything else you wanted to say about the products that you provide?
Oh, there's so much I would love to say. I guess just be curious, be curious about alternatives that you might not have heard of before. Like I like to say to people, when did you last hear when did you hear about antioxidants becoming a thing for your health? I ask that question, and most people say, it's probably about the 1980s, 1990s, where it became all the rage to make sure you're getting all your antioxidants. They were actually discovered, the importance of them, in the 1920s, and my point to that is that's how long these advancements in science and in health, it takes a long time to come out to the general public. The reason you may not have heard of redox molecules is it's only 15 years old, the science, So like I said, it's only a matter of time before the general public catches up to this. They chose not to go down the route of distributing through big pharma for various reasons. And so now it's through word of mouth. So you have to find an ASEA independent associate if you want to get some. It doesn't come from the associate themselves. It comes from the warehouses where they're located in distribution centers all around the world. And, the thing that makes it different to any other health product on the market is that it addresses cellular signaling. It's the labor for your body, the labor for your cells. There's nothing else that compares to it. It's not a vitamins, super juice, CBD oil, essential oil, any of those type of things. It's completely different. It's not a nutritional ingredient for the cell. It's the labor. And you need both, right? You need both the good nutrition, hydration for your healthy cells, but you also need cellular signaling. And this is the only way we can find that. So this is where the breakthrough is. And I would just encourage people to be curious and dig deep. And if you like what you see, seek out an independent associate and give it a try for yourself. See what it can do for you.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. So, okay, I'll go on to the second last question. So, tell us about who's your ideal client, who's your ideal avatar that you would like to talk to?
Oh, okay. My ideal avatar probably would be somebody with an adventurous spirit, who's open-minded, who's entrepreneurial, who sees the big picture in helping to bring this technology across the world, who has an urgent emotional dream that they can't fulfill doing what they're currently doing, who has high integrity, who's honest. They're probably like the water as well, because that's me. Like attracts like, right? Yeah, and who's just got a passion for helping people, wanting to provide solutions rather than band-aids to issues. Yeah.
Yes. Very good. That's solve the cause. You'll stitch in time, as an old professor said to me once. Stitch in time saves 9.
Absolutely.
So okay, and then thanks very much for that. And so I suppose you've already given us the tip on this one. So tell us what tips or ideas would you give to prolong lifelong longevity?
Yeah, I really think it's important to make sure that, life's busy. Everyone's so busy these days. And if you want to live a long, healthy, happy life, I really think you've got to pause and you've got to take time for yourself. Fill your own cup first so it can overflow into everything else and everyone else's that you meet in your life. So I really think it's important to take time out to reconnect with your true essence, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through patting a dog, just in making sure that you're having fun in life. Life's too short just to work. We don't live to work. We work to live. So I think that, self-care in this day and age is extremely important. Good hydration, getting a little bit of exercise, trying to eat well, making sure you spend time doing what you love, a little bit of time every day, spending time with family and friends, for your mental health. Finding supplements that work for you, because we can't always get it from the food we eat these days, and we can't always protect ourselves from our environment. And just being mindful. I think that helps. Practicing gratitude is another one. I've found that to be really, really powerful. A lot of us have the tendency to want to, think about all the things we don't have in life, but when you stop to appreciate what you do have, the happiness that creates from within is huge health benefits in that. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it, Shanley. Thanks so much for the gold nuggets today and your time. And I'll get you to put your details in the links below. I've got it on 3 platforms. So I'll get my VA to give you those links, and you can just put them in there. And if people have any questions for you, want to ask you more about what you do and what you've done, because you've done some pretty amazing things. So thanks again, Shanley, and appreciate it for that. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, my pleasure, Dr. Scott. Great to spend some time with you this morning.
So thanks, guys. So this is the Get Busy Livin Podcast. I'm Dr. Scott Fox from Six Sense Acupuncture and the Healthy Habits Club. And much appreciated, Shanley. Have a great day, guys.